floor in 1 hour. Or actually, I don't think you're first up. So it will be on this afternoon. We have a number of bills. It's going to be a long night here. I think.
So to interrupt and say, I am actually first up because of the ASL signing and technology. That's going to be part of the presentation. So it's going to be at 1 o'clock. It's a new land for us all.
All right, fantastic. So I'll turn the floor over to you, Representative Goldman, and I appreciate you being here today and kind of giving us a kind of an overview of it before we hear it on the floor this in a little while. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, and thanking you for inviting me. I'm Leslie Goldman. I represent Wyndham 3, which is in the southern part of the state. It's Athens, Grafton, Brookline, Rockingham, Wyndham, a slice of Westminster. So it's 5 towns. It's all going to be redesigned this afternoon as we go through reapportionment. So that's going to be exciting as well. So everything will change. I am a member of the Healthcare Committee, and age 266, I think many of you are familiar with. It came probably out of your advocacy groups. And it's a bill that is trying to ensure hearing aid access across 3 different sectors. The first is Medicaid already provides hearing aid benefit, but the bill requires them to do it ongoing, so they can't stop, which is great. The second part of the bill is to make hearing aids. This is very complicated, but as part of the Affordable Care Act, there's something called the benchmark plan. And this started early on. We had to pick 10 things that we wanted to be included. What happened was the Department of Financial Regulation did a study about including hearing aids in the benchmark plan, and their recommendation is that we do that. So that's good. That includes the individual and small group market for the ACA. Right now, where it sits is it goes to the Green Mountain Care Board, which gave their approval this week or last week. It all is a blur. Which is good that they did that. And now it goes to the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. There's an I there. I don't remember what it is. Center, let's just say Centers
for Medicaid Services.
Yeah, so Medicare and Medicaid, but it's part of that. Anyway, them to approve. The goal is to have that benefit pretty much in statute for plan year 2024. And the reason that is not right away is it's going to take plan year, thank you, Ruby, plan year 2023 to develop the benefit. So it is the goal for 2024. And then the third piece is the bill requires the small group, the large group market to also offer a hearing aid benefit. We'll probably know this, but health insurance in Vermont, there's 9 different ways to access health insurance in Vermont. The state only has jurisdiction over 4. So we're requiring hearing aid benefit in the 4 arenas that we have access to. The ones we don't, I know you know, Medicare, the large health group that are the ERISA plans, the self-insured group, and then there are a couple others, and of course the self-insured. So that's the goal of the bill. It's pretty straightforward, really, in that we just want to require hearing aid benefits in these different plans across the state. So that's my. I'm not sure. I think Angela's talking, or oh, there you go. Thank you. So I'll just leave it at that to start with, and I just want to respond to your questions.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Representative Goldman?
Indy. Oh God, I hope the floor is as nice as you are.
Okay, well, thank you, and looking forward to your floor presentation today, and this going over to the Senate. So hopefully they'll act on it as well.
Wait, Ruby just put something, oh, a big thing here.
Sorry, I just dropped a chunk of information in case people are curious about the impact on Vermonters as a result of covering hearing aids.
I should say there are two parts of them that might be relevant in this bill. It does really require medical necessity for coverage in some of these plans. So you do have to get a prescription, for want of a better term. It does allow for replacement for each ear every 3 years.
I guess this is a great beginning, right? I mean, you have to start somewhere. We have, and to get in.
We're beginning to go toward what?
To getting coverage for hearing aids. It's something that we've always realized that insurance programs don't support. It's a need, as Ruby clearly stated, the high need. And we have to start somewhere. I mean, Medicare really is really where we want to end up. Is that right?
And of course, that's federal. So that's sort of the point, is that we don't have control over that state level. And of course, it's where most of the hearing challenges occur in that population. So we're doing what we can for our state, but we have control over the state.
I do want to thank you for that, for all you're doing. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Ruby, you had a question or a comment?
I had a comment about two populations that are not addressed in this bill, and that the state does have authority to regulate hearing aids for, and those are the state employees and teachers. And just as a note for folks, the state employees did negotiate this year to include some level of hearing aid coverage in their own plans independent of this work. So that coverage, whether that coverage is equivalent or not, we're not entirely sure yet, but there is that coverage for the 14,000 lives in the state employees and municipal plans. And the teachers' plans are also not included in it. I'm told that that's about 42,000 Vermonters. They do have the ability to negotiate adding that hearing aid benefit, and we may, the coalition that's been working on this bill, may attempt to bring that coverage in at the Senate side, but one way or the other, I think one of the things that happens as a result of this bill is that because the bill essentially solidifies in language the roughly 250,000 Vermonters who then have hearing aid coverage, it applies a significant amount of market pressure on the rest of the plans to catch up. It's about 46% of the population of Vermont, as a result of this work and this bill, would now have hearing aid coverage, which is I think really significant. And as Representative Goldman said, some of those are not changes that weren't already in existence, but it is codifying and solidifying that coverage for those populations. So it's a huge number of people who then have access. And another thing that I learned in the process of working on this bill that I think is really relevant, and I was surprised by when I learned it, is that nationally, if they average across all demographics, hearing loss has a prevalence of about 17% in the population. So, and the rate of hearing loss goes up with age. So in an older state, it is likely that more than 17% of Vermonters have hearing loss. And just, back of the napkin calculation, if we're looking at 250,000 Vermonters who are covered under this bill now at 17%, that's 42,000 Vermonters who can get their hearing aids covered by their insurance as a result of this work. So I think the impact is really incredible and significant, and I'm so grateful to the committee and to the sponsors of the bill.
Yeah, thank you, Ruby. Are you including Medicaid in your numbers?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great.
Once this bill is passed, there will be roughly 250,000 Vermonters who have hearing aid coverage.
Yeah, I just want to be sure that you included Medicaid. And you're right that it is included in the state negotiated contract, which will be implemented in July of 22. So that's when their new benefits start. And yeah, the teachers, it was left to them to negotiate their benefits. So we didn't get involved in that.
Representative Wood, I see you have your hand up.
Thank you, Dan, sitting across the table from me. I just wanted to express my appreciation to Representative Goldman and the rest of the Healthcare Committee for the preparatory work that happened at the end of last session and getting the Department of Financial Regulation information and working through the Green Mountain Care Board and then working their way through this bill. It's going to have an impact not only for the actual covered lives that it will enhance, but I agree with Ruby that this will apply, I guess, the equivalent of peer pressure in the insurance industry for other plans to cover this. And it's can mean such a dramatic improvement in people's lives and their quality of life and their health care. That I just think it's really important. And I just really wanted to express my appreciation for the work of your committee. And I just joined a couple of minutes ago, so if Woody's on here too, which he usually is, thank you to Woody too.
Yeah, hey, you're welcome. It's been really good work. It feels like, wow, we really did something. Doesn't always feel that way.
Yeah, thank you. All right, well, Ruby, if you can go quick,
I'm gonna slip
I want to get
out.
Leslie so she can get a bite to eat before she's going to be
Yes.
getting ready for the floor. So
I'm gonna slip
Go
out.
ahead.
It's really good to meet all of you. Thank you.
I'll be super quick. I just wanted to recognize that the amount of work that went in behind the scenes with Mike Ferrant, who was tasked with making all of these meetings accessible to people with hearing loss, was really amazing to watch that evolution and learning happen at the disability access level to get ASL and captioning and figure out how to make these meetings more accessible. And I think that's important work in its own right, even if the bill never passed, for people to learn and understand that disability. So thank you to Mike Ferrant, who's not here, but
Absolutely, that is a great point and helped us learn through this process about accessibility of all of our meetings. So great point, Ruby.
okay, thank you. I'll now turn it over to Kathy Paquette from who's going to be talking about our Meals on Wheels program. So thank you, Kathy. Take it away, and then we'll circle back for any questions or anything at the end, if that works for you.
Hi, actually, this is Chris Moldovan, and I am from Age Well. And I am going to start the presentation along with Kathy. She's showing the slides today. We wanted to start by just recognizing that we are nutrition directors at the V4A, the 5 area agencies on aging. As you can see on the slide, Age Well, Central Vermont Council on Aging, Northeast Kingdom Council on Aging, Senior Solutions, and Southwestern Vermont Council on Aging. Slide 2. And this year, it's pretty exciting because nutrition programs nationwide are celebrating their 50th anniversary or 50th birthday. This is 50 years of Meals on Wheels served across the nation. And there have been lots of different celebrations throughout the state of Vermont, along with the nation. But March for Meals is a huge, true grassroots movement through local programs leveraging this month. and really thinking about ways to help support and sustain Meals on Wheels in the future. Recently, there was a bipartisan resolution honoring the 50th anniversary of the Older Americans Act nutrition programs. Again, those primarily helping to support Meals on Wheels and congregate nutrition programs. I'd like to recognize the nutrition directors that are here present today. Kathy Paquette from Central Vermont, Courtney Anderson from Southwestern Council on Aging, Herb Will from Northeast Kingdom Council on Aging, and myself from AgeWell. Wendy Germain was unable to be here today from Senior Solutions. Slide 3. The Older Americans Act nutrition requirements for all meals programs, whether it's Meals on Wheels or community meals, are pretty stringent, and they're outlined in the Older Americans Act. As you may know, the purpose of the program is to reduce hunger and food insecurity and malnutrition, promote socialization, promote health and well-being, and delay adverse health conditions to develop and continue to have people's lives and health decline. The intent is to make community-based nutrition program services available to all older adults who may be at risk of losing their independence and their ability to remain in the community. And all meals served meet 1/3 of the daily recommended dietary allowances for adults age 60 and older. Slide 4. I just wanted to start outline some of the challenges that we're facing with Meals on Wheels programming in the state today. Continuous need is identified for home delivered meals statewide. Reopening of meal sites across the state, these are the congregate sites, have been kind of stopping and starting as time has gone on. I know there's some service providers here today. Thank you for attending the caucus that run meal sites, and some of them have been open and people have been coming in, some have closed down, some have restarted once again. Of course, funding challenges is always an issue. Increased gas prices right now are affecting everyone. Supply chain issues are affecting everyone. Increased packaging costs for the meals and staffing shortages, and keeping staff on site to help prepare, package, and distribute the meals. There's an increased need for volunteers. As the need for meals increase, we have more and more people receiving the meals. And then, of course, more and more volunteers needed to get those meals out. We're constantly thinking about strategies to address social isolation. As we can get people, older Vermonters, out to the meal sites, and maybe they're out there volunteering, that's going to help. But for those people in their home receiving Meals on Wheels, social isolation is a huge issue. Continued food insecurity and creating solutions to have access to food for all older Vermonters is something that, again, all of the AAAs are thinking about, working with, and trying to create solutions that will be sustainable. And of course, we know aging population in Vermont is increasing every day. Kathy, I believe you wanted to do slide 5.
Yes, thank you for having us, everyone. And this is a slide around the eligibility criteria and the services that are provided through the nutrition program. Chris mentioned the congregate program. I'm not going to dwell on that, but it's now open or closed. So some sites are open, some sites are closed. It really depends on the numbers. We're just fluctuating as we go right now and hoping for the best. Home delivered meals, Meals on Wheels is always been open for business. It is about providing that home and safety check for anybody who needs a meal delivered and is not able to get out and about. And or the grab and go meals are also considered part of the Meals on Wheels program today. Volunteers help with this delivery, and they are key in helping to decrease the feelings of isolation as they deliver. Volunteers are often reporting also health issues or observations that they notice as a difference. And then that's that wraparound service that AAAs provide, area agencies on aging provide to follow through with some of those concerns or needs. We have case management services, family caregiver services at the AAA level, and that adds to that layer of service, added service. So to be eligible, you have to be 60 and over. You are not able to obtain or prepare meals on a temporary or permanent basis due to a physical or mental condition, lack of or inadequacy of facilities. You're not cooking, or your stove has been turned off, or you're an inability to shop, cook, or prepare meals safely. And the spouse is also eligible, and anyone under 60 under the care of an eligible client can be receiving meals. This slide here shows the impact of each of our 5 agencies, area agencies on aging, but I want to direct your attention to the total in Vermont. We're 1,170,978 meals that we provided last year. And this was during COVID, mind you, that we still continued our service that we've been doing for 50 years and to more clients and more meals. And it's an ever increasing number. Cost versus need is talking about the partnerships that we have. So we're 5 different AAAs. We do 5 a bit differently each place. However, it's all done to serve the client. And this shows some of the partners that we have in senior centers, churches, vendors, showing that it takes a community, right, to build. It takes a village to support. We have partnerships with the food bank as far as providing some food to some sites. Local farmers, we do gleaning programs. So we have a lot of partnerships to make this program happen. But there's still an actual cost to this meal. And we do an average cost every year. We do a meals cost survey. And this is showing that it's $10.83 to provide a Meals on Wheels program. And then the $10.66 for the congregate average dollar cost is basically because it's not including a meal tray for delivery. We do get a reimbursement rate, and we do give a reimbursement rate with federal dollars through the Older Americans Act dollars, and that's there's still a gap. So our local partners or the AAAs help provide fundraising to fill that gap, or have to provide. And then the average client contribution is less than $1. We do give those who are receiving the meal an opportunity to donate to that meal. And that's probably statewide number is they do donate. However, it does impact the program. However, it's not really enough. Contracted meals are provided anywhere from 2 to 7 days a week, but all are required to provide the 7 if needed. This meals infographic is an older one. It shows how much we had 1,044,000, so we've changed and increased. It has that we also have older people that are threatened by hunger, at the risk of hunger, facing hunger, and are showing poor health. This shows, we also do an annual Meals on Wheels satisfaction survey. This shows the impact of the program to the client. And this is 78% of the home delivered meal clients show that it helps manage a medical condition. That's a lot of reasons people come on. I have some notes here that say, why people came on. They came out of the hospital. They are caregiver to the husband, and it makes it a lot easier. It's hard to shop during the winter. no longer we have a local grocery store, and it's too far for me to drive. I'm 81 and I don't drive that often. I want more than peanut butter sandwiches. I fell with a concussion. I have vision problems. The doctor recommended it to me, or I don't drive anymore. So this is why these percentages are high. 91% report they're eating healthier food over the peanut butter sandwich. 85% have improved their overall health. They're recognizing this is a nutrition program. We're providing good nutrition. 90% of home delivered meal clients reported that Meals on Wheels helps them remain living at home. We all want to live at home. And most of those, I want to say, are eating alone. Chris, I think it's yours.
Yeah. So we'll just finish up. We wanted to point out that the AAAs all have joined together to form a coalition statewide with many community partners to really focus on access to nutrition, food, making sure that people who are food insecure know where to turn. So a group of about 12 or so agencies and organizations meet on a regular basis. And we have developed an older Vermonter nutrition resource guide that pulls together things, details, how to sign up for Meals on Wheels, how to find out about your local community or congregate meal site, how to access 3 squares, how to get nutrition counseling so that they can better manage their chronic health problems, and where's the local food shelf. So we've pulled together some great resources, and we will be continuing to distribute this information out to clients, whether they're current clients or potential clients in the future. We're always looking for new members to join the Older Vermonter Nutrition Coalition, and you certainly can reach out to Kathy or I, and we'll help you understand how. Slide 12. Just wrapping up again, emergency response and essential services. You know, one of the things that Kathy mentioned is that Meals on Wheels, we are very happy to say, went uninterrupted in the state of Vermont during COVID, and we continuously deliver to clients in their homes who can otherwise not access food or get out and get groceries and or prepare their meals. We've, as AAAs, have initiated something called curbside pickup or grab and go meals. That's an opportunity for people who were sheltering in place perhaps, or not comfortable going to senior centers, or with the senior centers closed at the time, could access a nutritious meal, meeting 1/3 of their nutritional requirements for the day, at a local community center, meal site, senior center, and enjoy the meal in a safe environment. Emergency meal distribution was something that is in the forefront. We're continuously doing that throughout the winter months, inclement weather, but also during times of the pandemic that surges were happening, and we were able to get additional meals out to people so that they could have access to food. We've participated in statewide nutrition education projects, thinking about ways that we can provide nutrition education to help people better manage their chronic health problems like diabetes or hypertension, how to read food labels, how to prepare meals on a budget, and other topics. There's been grocery delivery collaborations with community partners and senior centers, making sure, again, people have access to food, increased nutrition outreach around food insecurity and access to all programs, increased communication of community resources to partners and other programs that might be able to make a referral and help someone, access those services we provide through the agencies on aging. Thinking about social isolation and what supports we can put in place, offering things like virtual classes and virtual counseling sessions, phone counseling sessions, or just a check-in by a volunteer or a staff person. Emergency preparedness, equipment, supplies. We've offered supports to senior centers and community centers to help make sure that they're ready and we're ready and prepared to serve the clients in need. And then, of course, thinking about supporting those programs that need increased recruitment and training provided to all volunteers and others in the programs. And the final slide is just simply questions and answers. I know we've gone over, so I'll end there, but if there's anything we can answer, we're happy to do that. Otherwise, I know, speaking for all the AAAs, we'd be happy to come back at another time and do a more in-depth presentation.
Great, thank you, Chris and Kathy. I'm getting some feedback. Hang on.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry. Thank you very much for that presentation. And I think everybody on this call recognizes the extreme importance of nutrition services for older Vermonters and the ancillary support it provides to older Vermonters in their homes, or the socialization that happens, and reducing isolation that happens when people come to congregate meals as well. My question actually is something I probably should know, and maybe is directed at Angela if she's still on. Looks like she is. And could you possibly take down your presentation so that we can see everybody again? So Angela, my question is, I know that there is money that's funneled to the AAAs through the, from the Older Americans Act for Nutrition. Is there any state general fund that goes into nutrition programs that goes out through the AAAs to the meal sites?
Yeah, that's a great question, Representative Wood. Hi, everybody. This is Angela Smith-Jang from Dale. Yes, the Older Americans Act requires a state match to match the federal funding. It's depending on the particular program or title, it's a 15% or a 25% match. In Vermont, we provide more than that in general fund. So there's about, don't quote me on this, but it's about 12 million total in funding to the AAAs for OAA services, and about 5 or 6 million of that is general fund to both support sort of the base services, as well as some particular parts of the OAA.
So that's the OAA in sort of its broad charge to the state and then out to our localities. Do we know how much is going specifically of that general fund to the nutrition programs?
So the way that it typically works is that the AAAs get that funding kind of as a monthly drawdown, and they're able to use that across the Title III programs. So certainly some of that general fund is incorporated into the nutrition programs and is going out to the meal providers. But I don't know that I can say exactly what amount that would be. I would have to talk to the business office about that.
Okay, I'm just recognizing I think that we have some potential work to do to gain additional support for these nutrition programs, both at the federal and at the state level. And we've been considering here a $6 million appropriation to the Vermont Food Bank for the broader issues around food insecurity. And we know that older Vermonters experience food insecurity at a high degree, and I'm just am feeling like we need to have a bit more, I guess I would say, specificity about how we direct state funds, and whether we should be looking at additional state funds if possible, which is always an uphill battle. But I feel like the expectation that local nutrition programs have to privately raise essentially half of what they need in order to deliver this important service seems sort of antithetical to what we, what we think about in the state. So that it's more of a, not really expecting a response to that. It's more of a, let's all sort of collectively put our thinking caps on and maybe figure out how we can do better in this regard, because it seems to me like we need to do better in this regard. And we have a great concentration on children in nutrition, and nutrition plays a huge impact on all of us throughout our whole lives. And we have not focused on older Vermonters in nutrition. And that's something that, for me, this pandemic has really highlighted. So anyways, thank you both for your presentation, and sorry to put you on the spot, Angela. I was just like, I'm feeling like those were questions I should know the answer to, but I didn't, so.
Thank you. I see Deanna has her hand up.
Thank you. As a director of a meal site and senior center, it's very encouraging to hear you say that, Representative Wood. And I know from talking to a lot of senior centers in Vermont that gap is increasingly hard to fill. You mentioned the average cost being around $10.83 a meal, but I mean, that's the average, and I haven't seen the whole analysis of all the meals. I'd love to see increased support in making sure that we're calculating those consistently and that everyone's capturing all of the charges that they can. I think people with strong bookkeepers and bigger programs can capture all of those charges that are on those worksheets. But I definitely have a concern that everyone isn't capturing all of the things that they could for a meal cost to make that more accurate. Our meal cost since COVID and right now is closer to $16 a meal, and even more. The per meal food, raw food and supply cost is 22% higher than it was before COVID. And those costs are just going up and up. And it really also depends on the budget of the program that they can put into those meals, and what type of food and meals they're serving as well. So it is quite a wide variety, but I just wanted to point out how much I appreciate that, a deeper look at helping us fund that gap, because it is a significant burden and becoming an even greater burden every month. Thank you.
May I just add, so Deanna's talking about those sheets is talking about the statewide Meals on Wheels cost analysis that is completed annually with the AAAs in partnership with the different providers of food. And so we gather that information and then compile it into a statewide report that goes to Dale. And so that's where the average numbers came from. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And along that same kind of lines, Representative Wood and I testified to Senate Health and Welfare on Tuesday morning on 153. So it looks like we'll see some more testimony in that committee coming up in the next few weeks, hopefully. Just wanted to let folks know that we were there. Any other questions? And also Deanna will be joining us next week as we hear from senior centers. So it's our topic for the coming week. So any other questions for Chris or Kathy on their presentation?
I just want to make another plug for the March for Meals. It's, let everybody know that this is our month of celebration, and that, anybody who wants to volunteer, donate to this program, that there's certainly somebody local that you can provide support to, whether it be a AAA or to a local service provider.
One thing that Dan and I were talking about a few moments ago, we have people from all over the state represented on this call, which we really appreciate. But the purpose of a caucus is to reach our fellow legislators. And we are having a more difficult time doing that and having them be here. And you all have a voice, and we really need you to use it to encourage your local legislators to attend this caucus, because that is where they will become more educated about issues affecting older Vermonters. And even if they can't be here every week, if they could be here periodically, Dan sends out what the topic's going to be ahead of time. And we try to make it convenient for people. Still doing it on Zoom is actually generally more convenient for people, but it'd be really great if, everybody on the call just wrote one legislator, sent him a quick email saying, hey, this caucus is really good and you should attend. You could get more information about issues that are affecting older Vermonters, and people respond to their constituents, just letting you know.
And you can just forward them the link that I send you, which I send everybody anyways. And today, just for example, we're competing with another caucus that is offering free pizza. So yeah, it's one of those things. Angela.
Is it okay to bring up another piece of legislation just to let folks know about that's moving?
Sure.
S206, which just passed out of the Senate at the end of last week, and so is headed to the House. This is a bill around the planning for the care and treatment of people with dementia. So it has a focus on the work of the Alzheimer's Disease and Related Disorders Governor's Commission, as well as work for the Department of Health and for Dale in partnership with the Aging Services Network. So I imagine that may be coming to the House Human Services Committee at some point.
Yes, thank you. I was actually talking to Senator Hardy briefly about it yesterday in committee, so I'm definitely be connecting with her. And where that's we'll have opportunity to take some testimony in it in the Human Services Committee will be great. Ruby, I see you got your hand up.
Sorry, I just can't help myself today. Another piece of legislation to bring to everyone's attention is S239, which passed out of Senate Health and Welfare and is currently in Senate.
What is that, Ruby?
She may have froze.
Oh, that's why. Okay. It's like a cliffhanger.
Oh, I know. It's just suspense. Look at that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. This bill is particularly relevant to the AAAs, and I know that AAAs have provided testimony on it. But the bill would create an annual enrollment period for Medicare supplemental plans, which essentially creates a way out of Medicare Advantage plans for those who understand that particular problem without incurring monthly fines for the rest of your life, which is great. We wouldn't want to penalize people forever. And then the other piece, it moved to Senate Appropriations. Really? It was in Senate Finance yesterday, but anyway.
It's in Senate Finance, yeah.
Okay. And the other piece is that it would create a working group and study in collaboration with the Department of Financial Regulation and COVE and the AAAs and many others to explore Medicare Advantage, to understand the pros, cons, impacts, ways to work around the overwhelming messaging and some of those pieces. So that bill is getting a pretty close look this week, and if you are in support of it, this would be a great moment to say something to Senate Finance.
Thank you for that. Mary, I see your hand up. Nope.
Oh, I was just
No
going to
worries.
follow up, if you can hear me, on S239, which is Medicare Sup. And the study group related to Medicare Sup and Advantage plans. One of the major issues in our state is the huge increase in the number of folks enrolling in Advantage plans, which will supplant Medicare A and B, and in theory, at least Med Sup plans. And even though there's a lot of concern about that, the state can't actually regulate that. And so just so folks are aware, one of the goals of this bill is to look at some of those issues to see what legal channels or avenues there may be to start addressing it. Staying in good communication with the congressional delegation about this as well is also really important. And also looking at what other states may be doing to address it as well. So all of those ads that you see constantly on television with famous football players and former actors, etc., those are not things we can regulate the content of as a state or minimize or reduce. So it's kind of a tough problem.
Thank you. All right, any last comments before we adjourn today? All right. All right. Sorry about that. All right, well, thank you everyone for coming today, and thank you, Chris and Kathy, for your presentation, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.